Hello, my name is Angela Pelzer, and I am pleased to welcome you to my program evaluation presentation for Forgotten Harvest. Forgotten Harvest is America's largest and most efficient food rescue operation with a 5-star rating from Charity Navigator. Here in the Detroit metropolitan area, we are the only food rescue operation. We are well positioned to meet our community's needs with 34 refrigerated trucks and vans, 455 plus generous food donors, and we provide and deliver food to over 258 emergency food providers covering a 2,000 square mile area 7 days a week, 365 days a year. All of our accomplishments and strives to keep up with constant changes in our economic environment, our community still needs more help as the demand for assistance continues to climb along with rising food and production costs. We must therefore seek additional funds from sources such as yourself to keep up with this constant demand from our neighbors. Our community and its context. Metropolitan Detroit is the world headquarters for General Motors, Ford, Daimler Chrysler, and Volkswagen of America. Other national and international corporations headquartered here include Kmart, CompuWare, the Bud Company, American National Resources, and Federal Mogul. Directly north of the city is Auburn Hills, which proclaims itself as Automation Alley due to the large number of robotic firms that have located here in recent years. The area's residents are highly dependent on the auto industry and its supporting manufacturers and suppliers, and when these companies have declines in revenues, so does the community at large, as we witnessed with two of the big three automakers filing for bankruptcy. Many residents lost their life savings along with their homes and belongings and were forced to reestablish themselves with the most basic of needs such as housing and food. Forgotten Harvest Incorporated is a nonprofit organization incorporated in the state of Michigan whose mission is to provide hunger relief to the Detroit metropolitan area residents through a prepared, perishable, and non-perishable surplus food program. The organization collects a variety of meat, fruit, dairy, bakery, vegetables, beverages, and non-food surplus products from a variety of health department approved establishments such as grocery stores and restaurants, and then transports that intake to recipient agencies such as soup kitchens, pantries, and shelters in the Wayne, Oakland, and Macomb Tri-County areas. The mission seeks to expand and redefine its goals and objectives to be more inclusive of the area's residents. Our mission continues to be first and foremost to relieve hunger in the community. We pride ourselves on being the area's only food rescue operation and the largest food rescue operation in the country. Our progress has been commendable. Over 43 million pounds rescued in 2012 to include everything from meat, dairy, vegetables, fruits, breads, beverages, and prepared foods. Our labors can only improve as we expand the farming initiative to 95 acres. However, with early harsh and prolonged winter in 2013 and continuing into 2014, we are experiencing a significant surge in requests for agency support and a heartfelt decline in donations as a result of high utility costs for the area's residents, agencies, and ourselves. Here is a partial listing of our participating food donors. Each of these companies donated 10,000 pounds or more food products in fiscal year 2012. As our list of donor agencies continues to be inspiring, we commemorate and hold these agencies commendable for their commitment to Forgotten Harvest and our communities. However, as the demand for services in the community continues to rise, so does the demand for and from other supporting agencies to acquire the benefits from these very same establishments. Unfortunately so, Understandably so, these establishments must share in the benevolence that they can and do offer to meet the needs without bias for the social development of the community at large. Forgotten Harvest serves as a critical lifeline of support to the number of recipient agencies that we serve and continues to increase at an alarming rate year after year. Our mission and goals are an absolute to helping these organizations achieve their own mission and goals to provide meals unconditionally and without judgment to any and all who seek out assistance. As simple as it may seem to those who are not and have never been insecure about where their next meal will come from, Food can be the security that moves people from crisis to stability, especially for our children who don't understand why they have to be hungry. Food insecurity is defined as the inability of some to access and or afford healthy, nutritious foods on a consistent basis, which leads to an increase and possibly permanent reliance on emergency food providers, which in turn may diminish from those who are truly in need of assistance for an unforeseen or unavoidable short-term emergency. Many U.S. families struggle to meet their basic food needs despite continued economic expansion and strong government support with programs such as Women's, Infants, Children, and Supplemental Nutritional Assistance Program. These programs are commonly known as WIC and SNAP. In addition to that, studies have found that there is a strong correlation between bad nutrition and declining health. With better nutritional offerings, we can improve health statistics and reduce food insecurity by supplying food directly to individuals and their families. Definitions from the Life Sciences Research Office defines food insecurity as an access by all people at all times to enough food for an active, healthy life. That means that nutritionally adequate food is readily available and they are assured that they have the ability to acquire acceptable foods in socially acceptable ways. Food insecurity is defined as a limited or uncertain availability of nutritionally adequate and safe foods, or a limited or uncertain ability to acquire acceptable foods in socially acceptable ways. And lastly, hunger is the uneasy and painful sensation caused by a lack of food or the recurrent and involuntary lack of access to food. The statistics are staggering, especially for households who were worried that food would run out, did not last, and could not afford a balanced meal. Additionally, there was a large number of households who reported that they had to cut the size of their meal or had to eliminate meat altogether. This transition from one extreme to the other can happen very quickly and to anyone. Sometimes, more often than one might think, the people are forced to make a decision between housing, medical bills, or food. The organization seeks to move children and adults from a place of low and very low food insecurity to a place where they can feel secure. The research methodology used to evaluate this program was both a quantitative and qualitative approach by analyzing the responses of a survey taken at facilities that provide meals to individuals who seek out hunger relief services. Here we chose to determine whether or not the program reduces food insecurity in the clients they serve, or does it simply relieve temporary hunger at a specific given time. In designing the research methodology for the evaluation, focus was placed on the inputs and outputs that were produced short-term outcomes, with the forethought of the long-term objectives and outcomes that could be achieved by the organization. The strategies drive our direction into motion. The inputs are our committed resources who we make the rescue operation possible, which includes our staff, volunteers, donors, and equipment. The new activities will consist of repackaging the donations at the warehouse facility in quantities that are adequate enough to prepare at least 30 well-balanced meals at the client's home residence for a month. Finally, the impact that the outcomes will have on influencing social, economic, and environmental issues. Our implementation plan will consist of carefully selected participants from our assessment survey results. Those selected are identified as being low food insecure and have the ability and means to fix and prepare meals for themselves should they receive and have access to adequate amounts of food supplies. Nutritionally balanced foods will be assembled and prepackaged at our warehouse facility based on the size and structure of the selected pilot, families with children, to be in accordance with nationally recognized standards for a properly balanced meal. The group will then be monitored and adjustments made to determine whether or not we accomplished the following. Was the amount adequate enough to become food secure within a time period? Did they refrequent the emergency food agency for a meal or additional supplies? If so, why? Was the food supply not adequate, or did they fall back into the habit of receiving a prepared meal? Did they perceive an improved personal outlook with independence and self-sufficiency from the agency? And did the emergency food providers experience any volume relief? As the direction and focus shifts towards reducing the problem of food insecurity, emphasis must be placed on an improved data monitoring system through our technology updates to account for and measure activities that will achieve our ultimate results. A strong technical infrastructure is critical to the sustainability of our program and will aid in our ability to best meet our clients' needs by taking on a proactive approach rather than a reactive one. We believe with this approach, some measures are preventable or can be minimized with meta-evaluation techniques that will perform at timely intervals. With an improved infrastructure, we will also be able to measure our costs and social effectiveness in determining who needs what, when, where, and in what quantity. This type of data information can easily be updated and stored for future adjustments and predictions. As a result of our evaluations as indicated, we can expect the following: more organizational awareness, name and cause, increased revenue with individual and group giving using our expanded marketing campaign, increase in volunteerism, continue to meet yet decrease the demand from recipient agencies, increase our efforts to eradicate hunger by way of reducing food insecurity in our community, and never forget the forgotten harvest.